Why are so many people who look rich secretly broke? And why is it that the ones who look broke are often wealthy? In this video, I'm breaking down why looking poor is important and why it's one of the smartest money moves you can make. By the end, you'll see how this mindset shift can be your path to financial freedom. Hey, I'm Davina and welcome to my finance corner. I've been working in accounting and finance for over 15 years and I've learned a lot from my career and my own personal finance journey. And on this channel, we'll talk all things money in a way that's simple and relatable. Let's get into it. You can escape materialism. We live in a world where we're constantly consuming social media and being advertised to. Social media is a highlight reel. Everyone's showing off their fancy trips, their designer outfits, bags. And when you're constantly consuming that stuff, it can make you feel like you're not doing enough, like you need to level up just to keep up. And that pressure can lead to lifestyle creep where you end up living above your means just to maintain an image. I've had friends tell me that they feel worse about their finances after consuming this stuff. And it's crazy. And I've even been there myself. Every month, as soon as I got paid, I was going shopping, I was going to concerts, festivals, fancy dinners, all while I was broke. And that lifestyle led to me being in payday loan debt. And honestly, it wasn't even worth it. What opened my eyes was when I looked at actual rich people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, I realized they don't actually look rich. And these are the top 5 to 10 richest people in the world. If you look at Bill Gates, that man dresses super simple. Steve Jobs, he used to wear jeans and a black polo neck all the time. Warren Buffett, he usually wears a suit and he's actually famously known for still driving an old car. And I thought, if they're rich and they're doing this, why am I blowing my money trying to look rich and keep up with the Joneses? It doesn't make sense. So I thought, I'm going to change. So once I stopped, I quit spending money on material things and doing things that I couldn't afford to do. And I was able to finally pay off my debt, build an investment portfolio, and save enough money to allow me to actually take time off work and travel. All because I stopped trying to look rich. So here's a thought I had the other day. I thought when you don't come from much, like if you grow up in a low income household or you don't make a lot of money, whatever the case is, when you first start making money, it's natural to want to get all the things that you never had. So it's like as soon as you start making money, you just spend on whatever you want, whether that's luxury cars, designer clothes, trainers, shoes, whatever the case may be. It's almost like you want to flex a little, like you want to let everyone know that I've got it now. And I did the same thing, and I think maybe to an extent we need to go through that phase. But at some point you have to pause and ask, why am I really doing this? Like, what am I really doing this for? What do I want my future to look like? I'm currently reading The Millionaire Next Door. This is such a good read, by the way. I highly recommend it. And it talks about how millionaires are actually really frugal. They buy secondhand cars that are like at least 10 years old. They wear watches that cost less than $5,000 and they budget diligently. And that makes sense. This is probably why they are actually rich. Because the truth is, when you choose to look poor, you free yourself from the pressure to impress. You stop buying stuff that you don't need. And this mindset shift can literally change your life. There's a Jay-Z lyric that keeps coming to my mind. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and rap it. Because he says, financial freedom is my only hope. F living rich and dying broke. And I just feel like that line sticks with me and it speaks to, I guess, like this thing that we have, that most people have with trying to look rich. So before I move on from this point, I ask you to take a second and ask yourself, what's one expense that you're holding on to just for appearances? Is it really adding value to your life or is it just boosting your ego? You can find joy in the simple things. Once you let go of the pressure to keep up, you start appreciating the little things more. You stop chasing trends, gadgets, and you start noticing what actually brings you joy. When you take a step back and quiet all the noise and ask yourself, do you really need the latest iPhone or designer handbag? The answer is usually no. You don't need it, and if you don't have it, to be honest, your life won't change. And once you have this mindset shift, you can stop being influenced by outside noise and reconnect with your values. Because the truth is, true happiness doesn't come from owning more stuff, it comes from meaningful experiences and relationships. So it's the simple joys like spending time with your family and your friends, trying new hobbies, or even trying new recipes. One of my favorite things to do is just to meet up with my friends and just have like really dope, meaningful conversations over a home cooked meal and a bottle of wine. And I noticed that the more that I leaned into this lifestyle, the more grateful I became. And when you're grateful, you stop looking for happiness outside of yourself. And that helps you stay focused and disciplined with your money. You start to see money as a tool to help you create the life you want instead of using it to impress others. And you realize the richest moments often cost the least. You can focus on building real wealth. Now, looking rich and being rich are two very different things. Looking rich is like eating Popeyes. It tastes good, but eventually it leaves you hungry soon after. But building wealth is like planting seeds. It takes time to grow and it nourishes you long term. The thing is, wealthy people focus on assets, the things that make them money. But people who are focused on looking rich usually spend most of their money on liabilities, like material things that lose value. So for me, once I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that book was a game changer. When he broke down the cash flow patterns of the poor and middle class compared to the rich, it just made complete sense to me, because if you look at it, you can see that rich people, they spend their money on assets, things that make them passive income, and poor and middle class, they focus on liabilities, things that cost them more and more money to maintain. And this book actually really shifted my mindset, because before reading it, I was actually going to buy a residential property, to be honest, just because that's what I believed was my next step based on like society. And then after I read the book, I actually changed my mind and I decided not to, because I realized that, for one, it would have been a liability, and for me, it didn't suit my lifestyle. So that's the thing. When you're not trying to look rich and keep up with what everybody else is doing, you make choices that benefit you, that are right for you and your lifestyle, not what makes you look rich. So for me, instead of trying to look like I had it, I started putting my money in things that would help me build wealth, like the rich. So I started focus on building passive income streams, building side hustles and business income. And something else I realized is that real wealth is quiet. It's not loud. Real millionaires and wealthy people, they don't care about looking rich. They don't wear their wealth, like I mentioned with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. And I think part of that comes from, that quiet confidence where it's just like knowing that you've got it is good enough. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You don't have to like let everybody know. And I do think that that is like a, I don't know, maybe like a self-esteem thing. I'm sure it comes with time. But choosing to look poor can help you focus on the bigger picture, which is financial freedom. And when you stop caring about appearances, you can redirect your money into building long-term wealth, and that's where the magic begins. You can buy your freedom. So looking poor, it gives you the power to buy your freedom. If you're constantly upgrading your lifestyle, you'll need more and more money just to keep up, and that might mean staying in a job you hate, working longer hours, having zero flexibility. It's like you're stuck in this cycle where you have to continue to do things to maintain the lifestyle. But when you let go of the pressure to look rich, you actually end up spending less. You can stop living paycheck to paycheck. You can start paying off your debt. You can save more, and you can invest in assets that generate income. And that opens the door to freedom. It can allow you to quit a job that you may not like. You can travel without worrying about finances. You can say yes to new opportunities and actually maybe take time off just to rest. And freedom looks different for everyone. But here's the thing, if you're broke, and I mean that respectfully, you can't buy it. So instead of throwing your money at things that lose value fast, invest in a life that you actually want. You can let go of what doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if we're being honest, a lot of the shiny stuff that we chase is for other people's approval. But here's the truth, people don't really care as much as we think they do. And once you understand this, you can let go of the need to look the part. You can stay focused on your peace, protect your future, reach your goals. Because the thing is, you don't need to upgrade your phone every year. You don't need the latest designer drip. You don't need to prove anything to everyone. Who you are already is enough. Like, sometimes it's okay to miss out. You don't need to be everywhere, everyone doing everything. And people may judge you for it, talk about you behind your back. But it doesn't matter, because you'll have peace knowing that you're building something real. Think of poor as building power, because that's exactly what it is. That's why looking poor is important and can actually be a power move. It's not about depriving yourself, it's about shifting your mindset, living intentionally, and building a future that you're actually proud of. If you like this video, you might like this one, where I break down why everything changes once you save 10k. So check it out. Let me know in the comments, have you ever felt the pressure to look rich? Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.